The Mumbai sun poured its golden rays over the terrace of the luxurious apartment, where its golden rays over the terrace of the luxurious apartment where Priyanka Chopra Jonas contemplated the skyline of the city that saw her birth. Her fingers gently caressed the small curve that was beginning to form on her belly, while her thoughts wandered between the glorious past in Bollywood and the future that was now taking shape by Nick's side. The news of the pregnancy had been kept secret for nearly 3 months, enough time for the couple to savor their joy in private before the world was in on the moment. "When you find peace in the chaos, you find your purpose," Priyanka muttered to herself, repeating a mantra that had stayed with her since her Miss World days. The phone rang, interrupting her thoughts. It was her agent in Los Angeles with an unexpected proposal. A major record label was offering her the opportunity to record a single, taking advantage of this special moment in her life. The idea was to unite her Indian roots with Western music, creating a bridge between two worlds, exactly as she had done throughout her career. "I never thought I'd pursue music professionally," Priyanka confessed to her husband that night, over a candlelit dinner. Nick, with that smile that melted her heart, held her hand across the table. "Maybe this is the perfect time to show the world another side of you. After all, you always said that life is about reinvention. The journey we have begun together deserves to be celebrated in every way possible." If you are following this story, be sure to share your expectations in the comments and follow the next chapters of this saga that promises to move us all. The Mumbai studio was strategically chosen. Priyanka wanted her first musical project to have the essence of her homeland. The wood-paneled walls bore witness to hours of dedication as she worked with Indian and American producers, creating a fusion that reflected her own multicultural identity. Motherhood would be the title of the song. A celebration not only of her pregnancy, but of all women who found strength in their roles as creators of life. The lyrics blended Hindi and English, with arrangements that combined traditional Indian instruments and contemporary Western beats. The launch was timed to coincide with Diwali, the Indian festival of lights, symbolizing the beginning of a new cycle. The marketing strategy was minimal. Priyanka believed the authenticity of the message would be enough to touch hearts. "In India, we say Ati Devo Bhava, the guest is God. My baby is the holiest guest I have ever had," she said in a rare pre-launch interview. When the song finally hit digital platforms, the impact was immediate and overwhelming. In less than 24 hours, Motherhood broke streaming records in India and reached the top of the charts in 12 countries. Priyanka's surprisingly melodious and emotionally charged voice won over even the most skeptical critics. The music video, directed by an emerging Indian filmmaker, featured Priyanka in a variety of settings, from ancient temples to modern skyscrapers, symbolizing the woman's journey through time. The final image, of her holding hands with Nick as the sun sets over the ocean, became instantly iconic. "I never imagined my voice could touch so many people," Priyanka confessed during a video chat with fans. "This song was born out of the purest love I've ever felt, and maybe that's why it resonates so deeply." Social media was flooded with videos of pregnant women dancing to motherhood, creating a spontaneous global movement. The unexpected success prompted the label to propose a short tour, just 6 shows in cities that were significant to the couple. Nick, ever supportive, suggested that he play piano during the performances, turning the project into a true family collaboration. "Our baby will have the best stories to tell," he joked during rehearsals. The first performance took place in Mumbai, in front of an audience that included everyone from Bollywood celebrities to everyday fans who had camped out for days to secure tickets. Dressed in a traditional Indian outfit adapted to accommodate her 5-month baby bump, Priyanka radiated an almost otherworldly glow as she took to the stage. "There is a saying in Sanskrit, Mata Tirtha, the mother is a sacred place of pilgrimage," she said before beginning to sing. "Tonight, we celebrate all mothers, those who are, those who will be, and those who watch us from another plane." There was not a dry eye in the theater as the first notes of motherhood filled the air. The tour continued on to London, New York, Los Angeles, Toronto, and finally Dallas, Nick's hometown. In each location, the show took on elements of local culture while maintaining its deeply personal essence. What no one could have predicted was that in Dallas, on what was supposed to be the final celebration of their musical journey, fate would take a turn that would test the limits of the Jonas Chopra family in unimaginable ways. The night in Dallas started out like a dream. The American Airlines Center was packed, with fans holding signs that mixed motherhood slogans with loving messages for the baby on the way. Backstage, Priyanka adjusted the sapphire blue sari specially designed by an Indian designer for the occasion, while Nick tuned the piano. "Are you nervous?" Nick asked, leaning in to gently kiss his wife's forehead. Priyanka smiled, placing her hand on her now visibly prominent belly. "It's not nervousness, it's like I feel like something important is going to happen tonight." She couldn't imagine how prophetic that intuition would be. The show went off beautifully. The fusion of Indian melodies with Western arrangements created an almost mystical atmosphere in the arena. During the third song, Priyanka invited a group of pregnant dancers from a local Indian community onto the stage, transforming the performance into a collective celebration of motherhood that moved the audience. In India, we have a proverb, "Janani Jamabumeska Swargadapi Gariyasi," mother and motherland are superior even to heaven, Priyanka said before the final number. "Tonight, I feel like I have found my heaven on earth, among you." The ovation that followed was deafening, with the audience standing and applauding for almost 5 minutes without stopping. It was during the final thanks that the unexpected happened. A pyrotechnic effect, programmed to create an arc of golden lights behind the stage, failed catastrophically. An errant spark hit part of the set, starting a small fire that quickly spread to the sound equipment. Panic was instantaneous. As security staff coordinated the orderly evacuation of the audience, Nick rushed to protect Priyanka, guiding her to the nearest exit. In the dressing room, however, Sophie Turner, the wife of Nick's brother Joe Jonas, had left little Alvin, Joe and Sophie's 2-year-old son, asleep in the care of a nanny who could now be located. "Alvin's in there," Sophie shouted as she found Nick and Priyanka in the evacuation area. Without hesitation, Nick ran back into the building, ignoring the shouts of the security guards. Priyanka, feeling a sudden contraction, grabbed Sophie's arm tightly. "The baby." "I think the stress is getting to the baby," she whispered as the paramedics rushed towards her. The minutes that followed seemed like an eternity. The flames were already visible outside when Nick emerged from the building with little Alvin in his arms, both covered in soot but apparently unharmed. The crowd applauded the heroic act, but the celebration was short-lived. Priyanka was being loaded into an ambulance, showing signs of premature labor. Dallas Presbyterian Hospital became the epicenter of a media vigil in the hours that followed. Fans gathered in the parking lot, offering both Christian and Hindu prayers for Priyanka and the baby's health. Social media exploded with the hashtag pray for Priyanka and baby, while celebrities from Hollywood and Bollywood showed their support. "Sometimes life brings us to our knees to teach us how to pray," tweeted Priyanka's close friend and Bollywood star Deepika Padukone. The message was shared millions of times, becoming a symbol of the global commotion that the situation had sparked. Inside the hospital, the reality was even more dramatic. Doctors struggled to stabilize Priyanka, whose 39-year-old body was suffering from complications due to extreme stress and smoke inhalation. The baby, still only 28 weeks pregnant, was showing signs of fetal distress that required constant monitoring. Nick didn't leave his wife's side for a second, refusing to be treated for his own minor injuries until he was sure Priyanka was out of danger. "You don't understand," he told the medical team, "she's crossed oceans and cultures to build our family. I can't lose her now." The following morning, the tabloid press was already speculating about the incident. Some outlets questioned the decision to tour while pregnant, while others insinuated negligence on the part of the show's production team. "The price of fame, how far will celebrities risk for applause?" ran the headline of a British tabloid, illustrated with photos of the fire. The Jonas Chopra family issued a brief statement through their representative. "We appreciate your prayers and support during this difficult time. Priyanka is stable and under medical care. We ask that our privacy be respected as we navigate this family situation." The purposefully vague statement only intensified speculation. Meanwhile, in the hospital room, a conversation was taking place that would change the course of that family forever. "I almost lost you both over a song, over applause that means nothing compared to your life," Nick whispered, holding Priyanka's hand in his. "Maybe we've gone too far." To which Priyanka, with tears in her eyes, replied, "Or maybe we haven't gone far enough to understand what really matters." 3 days passed with Priyanka hospitalized in Dallas. Doctors managed to stop her premature labor, but recommended complete bed rest for the rest of her pregnancy. The hospital room became a shrine of sorts, decorated with flowers sent by fans from around the world and Hindu mantras that Priyanka's mother insisted on hanging on the walls for spiritual protection. You know what they say in India, Jacha ki raksha, Bacha ki raksha, protecting the mother is protecting the child, said Madhu Chopra, who had flown in from Mumbai immediately upon hearing of the incident. Her presence brought not only family comfort but also the ancient wisdom that Priyanka treasured, especially at that moment of vulnerability. The investigation into the fire revealed serious failures in the safety protocols of the production company responsible for the show. The preliminary report indicated that the pyrotechnic effects had not been adequately tested for the specific space and that the venue's sprinkler system was partially disabled to prevent damage to expensive electronic equipment. The press was quick to turn the accident into a debate about the excesses of the entertainment industry. Commentators questioned the need for pyrotechnics at a show that celebrated something as natural as motherhood. The irony is cruel. We nearly lost a new life to create an artificial spectacle, wrote a New York Times columnist in a viral article. On day 4 of her hospital stay, while Nick slept uncomfortably in a chair next to her bed, Priyanka scrolled through social media on her tablet. The divided opinions about her decision to tour while pregnant had affected her more than she cared to admit. How many actresses go back to work weeks after giving birth and are applauded for it? She wondered silently, feeling the weight of the double standard of judgment that Indian women often face. A private message caught her eye. It was from Aishwarya Rai, a Bollywood legend who had also faced public scrutiny during her motherhood. Remember, our culture worships mother goddesses but judges real mothers. Don't let them define your boundaries. Tum apni aap main puri ho, you are completing yourself. The words were like a balm to her restless spirit. Priyanka's discharge from the hospital came with a strict list of restrictions and a recommendation that she remain in Dallas until it was safe to travel. The couple rented a secluded mansion on the outskirts of the city, seeking privacy away from the paparazzi who camped outside the hospital. The press dubbed the property Fortress Jonas, speculating about the luxury and eccentricities that had supposedly been installed for the star's comfort. The reality inside the house was very different from the media fantasies. Nick turned one of the bedrooms into a makeshift studio, where he composed lullabies for the baby. Priyanka, confined mostly to her bedroom and the balcony, rediscovered the pleasures of reading and meditating, practices that the hectic life between film sets had relegated to the background for years. Maybe this is the universe forcing us to slow down, she mused during a video call with her spiritual guru in Rishikesh. I've spent so much time running between continents that I've forgotten what it feels like to have the ground beneath my feet. The Hindu sage smiled serenely. In stillness we find our true voice, Priyanka. Maybe your next role is to simply be. Meanwhile, the record company was pushing for an official statement on the future of the tour. Tickets for the remaining dates, Paris, Tokyo, and Sydney, were completely sold out, and cancellation would mean millions in losses. Nick took over the negotiations, shielding Priyanka from the additional stress, but the talks quickly became tense. They suggested that you record some parts remotely and that we use holograms for the international presentations, Nick explained over dinner, visibly irritated by the proposal. As if technology could replace your presence, your energy. Priyanka was silent for a few moments, picking at her food absently. What if it could, she finally asked, surprising her husband. The idea quickly evolved. It wouldn't be holograms, but an immersive experience filmed in the privacy of her Dallas home. Priyanka would reinterpret motherhood and other songs in an intimate, documentary-like performance that would be broadcast from the original concert venues. We're going to turn limitation into art, she explained to the creative team, who quickly embraced the concept. The project, retitled Inside, A Journey with Priyanka, took on a deeper dimension than the original show. Between songs, Priyanka would share reflections on motherhood, cultural identity, and the challenges of being a South Asian woman navigating tradition and modernity. This will not just be a show, but a testimony, she said in a rare Instagram post that racked up millions of likes within hours. Filming took place over 3 days, with a minimal crew and under constant medical supervision. Nick not only accompanied on piano, but also directed some sequences, revealing an unexpected talent for directing. The end result blended the visual sophistication of Bollywood with the intimacy of an independent documentary, a combination that perfectly reflected Priyanka's own duality. The night before the worldwide broadcast, as they reviewed the final edit, Nick noticed that Priyanka seemed unusually thoughtful. "What are you thinking about?" he asked, stroking her hair. "How we almost lost everything because of lights and applause," she replied, "and how, ironically, it led us to create something more meaningful than we ever planned." What they didn't know was that the true test of their journey was yet to come, and that the audience's reaction to the new format would be just the beginning of an even more profound transformation. The world premiere of Inside, A Journey with Priyanka took place simultaneously on giant screens across the 3 continents where in-person shows were scheduled. In Paris, fans gathered beneath the Eiffel Tower. In Tokyo, the Dome City Hall was transformed into an open-air cinema, and in Sydney, the Opera House served as the backdrop for the screening. The anticipation was palpable at every location. The film began with a simple image: Priyanka sitting in a rocking chair on the porch of her Dallas home, the setting sun bathing her face in golden hues. "Namaste," she said, clasping her hands in front of her chest. "I am not here before you as planned, but perhaps I am exactly where I am supposed to be." The disarming honesty of that opening set the intimate tone that would permeate the entire experience. Film and music critics were watching intently, ready to analyze every note and word. What they didn't expect was to find a work that transcended categories. Is it music? Is it documentary? Is it manifesto? It is all of these and more, The Guardian's critic wrote in a review published minutes after the broadcast ended. Chopra has turned an accident into an artistic statement about vulnerability and strength. The sequence, in which Priyanka recited an ancient Sanskrit poem about motherhood while Nick played a minimalist rendition of motherhood on the piano, instantly went viral. Hashtags like #PriyankaPoetry and #MotherhoodRedefined dominated global trends, with thousands of women sharing their own motherhood stories inspired by the actress's courage. Backstage at the Dallas home, however, the mood was one of tense anticipation. Priyanka and Nick watched the reactions in real time, surrounded by a small medical team who monitored the actress's vital signs to ensure that the emotion of the moment did not affect her delicate condition. "It's strange to see the world react to our lives while we're here, isolated," Nick said, holding his wife's hand tightly. It was during the emotional climax of the broadcast, when Priyanka revealed her deepest fears about balancing career and motherhood, that little Alvin, Nick's nephew who had been rescued from the fire, unexpectedly entered the room where the couple were watching the broadcast. Escaping Sophie's supervision, the 2-year-old ran straight to Priyanka, hugging her belly with innocent affection. "Baby hurt?" Alvin asked in his childish voice, probably repeating something he had heard from the adults in the previous days. That simple question triggered a wave of emotions in Priyanka. Silent tears streamed down her face as she hugged her nephew. "No, honey. Baby is fine now, thanks to your brave uncle." The moment, captured discreetly by a cameraman documenting the couple's reactions for a potential DVD extra, was leaked online hours later, despite the efforts of the cybersecurity team. The image of Priyanka crying as she hugged Alvin instantly became a powerful symbol, humanizing the celebrity many had seen as a distant icon. The next morning brought unexpected headlines. While most of the media celebrated the artistic success of Inside, sensationalist tabloids focused on the leaked intimate video, questioning whether it was all just a calculated marketing strategy. Crocodile tears? The emotional engineering of Priyanka Chopra was the front page of a well-known British tabloid. The controversy escalated when a former employee of the production company behind the Dallas show gave an anonymous interview, claiming that the safety issues had been reported days before the incident but ignored to save costs. They knew the risks and went ahead with it. The priority was the show, not the safety of the pregnant star, the source said, adding fuel to the already heated debate. Nick, furious over the accusations, broke his usual silence on social media with a long text defending his wife. "Questioning the authenticity of the grief of a woman who nearly lost her child is a new level of cruelty," he wrote. "Priyanka risked everything to share her vulnerability with the world, and this is how some choose to give back." The post received massive support from celebrities and fans, but also intensified polarization. Amid the media storm, Priyanka received an unexpected call. It was Meryl Streep, the legendary actress who has rarely spoken out on industry matters. "When I was pregnant with my first child, a director suggested I give up the role because mothers can't focus," Streep revealed. "What you're facing now is the same struggle, only on a global scale. You're redefining what it means to be an artist and a mother simultaneously." That conversation inspired Priyanka to make a difficult decision. Against the advice of her publicists and agents, she accepted an invitation for an exclusive interview with Oprah Winfrey, not to defend herself against the allegations, but to further discuss the contradictory expectations placed on women in the entertainment industry. "I don't just want to clear my name, I want to change the narrative," she explained to Nick, who fully supported her decision. The interview, conducted remotely from her home in Dallas, became one of the most watched shows of the year. With her trademark calm, Priyanka spoke about the cultural pressures she faced as an Indian woman in Hollywood, how motherhood was simultaneously celebrated and penalized in the industry, and her constant fear of not being enough in any of her roles: actress, wife, mother-to-be, businesswoman. There is a Hindu saying, "Janani Jama Bhumiska Swargadapi Garyasi," mother and motherland are superior even to heaven, she said emotionally. "I am learning that honoring these two parts of myself does not mean choosing between them, but finding a new path that integrates them." As the interview drew to a close, Priyanka felt a strong movement in her belly, as if the baby responded to her words with a vigorous kick. A smile lit up her face, captured on camera in a moment of genuine joy that no critic would dare question. 2 weeks after the Oprah interview, the Dallas mansion had become a peaceful retreat. The media storm had subsided, replaced by a deeper debate about motherhood and careers in the creative industries. Journals were publishing academic articles analyzing the inside phenomenon as a turning point in the representation of motherhood in pop culture, while film schools were including the work in their experimental documentary curriculum. Priyanka, now 7 months pregnant, had been spending her mornings writing a memoir she had put off for years. "It's not just my story anymore," she told her publisher over a video call. "It's a testament to my daughter about how her arrival has transformed not only my life, but my art." The news that they were expecting a girl had been quietly revealed during the Oprah interview, when Priyanka inadvertently used a pronoun she when referring to the baby. Nick, meanwhile, was channeling his emotions into a side musical project, an album of contemporary lullabies inspired by both traditional Indian melodies and American classics. "I want our daughter to fall asleep to the perfect fusion of our heritages," he said as he tweaked the arrangements for Lori, a Punjabi lullaby his mother-in-law had taught him. The official investigation into the Dallas incident concluded with damning findings: gross negligence on the part of the production company, which had ignored safety warnings to save costs. Rather than sue for damages, as their lawyers had recommended, the couple opted for a different approach. "Let's turn this into an opportunity for change," Priyanka decided during a family meeting. The announcement came in a joint statement. Priyanka and Nick were establishing the Safe Motherhood Foundation, dedicated to promoting safe practices at cultural events and supporting pregnant artists. The production company responsible for the incident, to avoid lawsuits, committed to being the first corporate partner, implementing new safety protocols at all of its future events. "When we fall, we have two options: stay down or use the impact as momentum to jump higher," Priyanka said at the foundation's virtual launch. The phrase, inspired by an old Hindi proverb, has become the organization's unofficial motto and has been shared thousands of times on social media, inspiring women in similar situations around the world. As Priyanka's due date approached, her family arrived from all over the world for the traditional God Barai, the Hindu ceremony to bless pregnant women. Their Dallas home was decorated with jasmine and marigold flowers, while Hindu priests performed ancient rituals to bless mother and daughter. Nick, dressed respectfully in traditional Indian attire, actively participated in each ritual, demonstrating his deep respect for his wife's culture. "In our culture, we say Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the whole world is one family," Priyanka's mother explained to the American guests, as women from the family painted the actress's hands with henna in intricate patterns that symbolized fertility and protection. Today, we are seeing this philosophy in action, with traditions from 2 continents coming together to celebrate new life. It was during this ceremony that Priyanka felt her first contractions. At first, she tried to hide them, not wanting to interrupt the meticulously planned celebration. But when her expression of pain became impossible to hide during a devotional song, Nick knew immediately what was happening. "The show is over, Pri," he whispered tenderly. "Now it's time for the real show to begin." The ride to the hospital was surprisingly calm, almost as if the universe had finally decided to give the couple a break. Unlike the drama of the fire, there was no paparazzi, no chaos, just the quiet urgency of a new life about to arrive. In the car, Priyanka clutched tightly a small idol of Ganesha, the remover of obstacles in Hindu mythology, that her grandmother had shipped from Mumbai especially for this moment. Sona aa rahi hai, Priyanka murmured between contractions, her Hindi and English mixing as she often did in moments of intense emotion. Our golden girl is coming. Nick, holding her hand as the driver navigated the Dallas traffic, felt a rush of emotion so powerful he could barely respond. Years of world tours, performing in front of screaming crowds, nothing had prepared him for the intensity of this moment. 16 hours of labor later, at 4:17 a.m., Sia Jonas Chopra was born, weighing 7 pounds and weighing in at a pure miracle, as the proud father would later describe it. Her first cry, loud and determined, echoed through the delivery room like the most perfect note Nick had ever heard. "She's got your lungs," the doctor joked as he placed the tiny pink bundle in Priyanka's trembling arms. The news of the birth was shared with the world through a simple photo, Sia's tiny hands holding her parents' fingers, forming a perfect triangle. No face, no detail for the media to exploit, just the pure essence of this new family bond. The caption, written in English and Hindi, simply read, "Our most beautiful song has finally arrived. Sia, your name means the deity in female form, and that is exactly what you are to us." In the months that followed, Priyanka and Nick stunned the industry with a decision that was unusual for celebrities of their caliber. They temporarily stepped away from the spotlight. No movies, no shows, no advertising campaigns, just the sacred time of getting to know their daughter and rediscovering themselves as a family. "We spent our lives chasing applause," Nick explained in a rare written interview. "Now the only sound that matters is her laughter." A year after the Dallas incident, Inside, A Journey with Priyanka received the prestigious Peabody Award for outstanding contributions to media that enlighten and enrich the human soul. At the awards ceremony, Priyanka took the stage with Sia in her arms, the girl's first public appearance. Dressed in a contemporary sari that blended traditional Indian elements with a modern Western twist, Priyanka physically represented the bridge between cultures that her life and art had become. "Sometimes you have to fall to learn how to fly," she told the emotional audience. "My daughter not only taught me how to fly, she showed me a whole new sky." As the audience rose to their feet in a standing ovation, Nick joined them on stage, completing the picture of a family that had transformed adversity into art, crisis into purpose, and two distinct cultures into a home where a new generation could flourish without boundaries.